I'm sorry, I had my thing muted the whole
Yeah,
time.
I was trying to get your attention, tell you that you were muted. I
Okay,
was saying, is it just me?
no.
Okay.
All right. Starting over. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to What's Your Story? My name is Shenrika Crawford Benjamin, and I will be your awesome host this morning. So I hope you've had an awesome week so far. If not, get ready for your midweek awesomeness. My guest today is the awesome Dr. Debra Dunston. She is a nonprofit genius. She has over 35 years in the nonprofit industry game, which means she's seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. So if there's anything you need to know to start or grow your nonprofit, she's the person that you need to be in touch with. But just to let you know, What's Your Story is brought to you by Kids Love Money. They just don't understand it. It's an interactive workbook that teaches kids about money. It's available on kidslovemoney.shop, and also Say Something, which is a online store, and that's at saysomething.company.site. So those are our sponsors, but without further ado, let me bring on the lovely Dr. Debra Dunston. Dr.
Hello.
Debra, hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great, thank you. And I was just telling people, how wonderful you are, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and let the people know what's your story.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for having me on this show. Some people
Absolutely.
can see I am actually here on location at the Sheridan over in Charlotte. I have an event that actually connects back with my nonprofit, Healing and Empowerment Ministries. But my story, as you say, is I had went through some challenges when I was younger. Things happened to me in my life, and you know how things can happen to us in our life. It kind of stops us in our tracks. We can't seem
Yes.
to move forward. We um, build up our own limiting beliefs around it and things like that.
Oh
And
yeah.
so, after I went through my healing process, I decided to reach back and help others by starting Dr. Deborah for Healing, and also a nonprofit to run along beside my practice is Healing and Empowerment Ministries. And so, as I was doing this, I was working in the nonprofit industry because once I received my healing, my heart just went out to others who may have been going
Mhm.
through challenges. And so, I did, like you said, over 35 years in the nonprofit industry, helping to launch nonprofits and mostly to raise funds to make the vision sustainable. I like to call it taking your vision to a sustainable mission. And
Yes.
so now, as a healing and deliverance coach and nonprofit strategist, what I do is I help people who are going through challenging times to reach the point of their healing so that they can live the life that they were created to live, but then to also reach back and help someone else because I feel that one healing deserves another. And
Absolutely.
that once we get our healing, then we should pay it forward, no matter what that healing is. It can be a financial, it can be emotional, it can be physical. But I think that we should reach back and help someone else. And I believe that having a nonprofit is a great way to do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you. I appreciate you being on here this morning and sharing your awesomeness with the world. Okay, so I guess my next question or first question would be what determines whether someone actually needs a nonprofit or a for-profit? So how does that?
Well, a nonprofit, what I like to tell people about nonprofits, one of the myths they have though is that, well, I don't want to start a nonprofit because it's nonprofit, you're not going to make any money. But
Right.
that's a myth about nonprofits. Of course,
Mhm.
after 37 years in the industry, I did get paid to do what I was doing. When
Right.
they hired me, it wasn't like I was always there as a volunteer. That's what
Right.
paid for my living expenses, sent me to school, helped take care of my family, my kids. And so, yes, you can make a profit, but so a lot of people think that is you can't have revenue.
Mm.
So, nonprofit does not mean non-revenue generating. You can generate revenue, you can pay yourself, but with the nonprofit, the difference, I teach a class that's called 501c3 or
Mm-hmm.
not. And so
Right.
I sit down and I speak with, and were you in that class? I think you were invited to that class, but the
I could.
participants, we
Yeah.
talked about the benefits and the drawbacks. And
Mm-hmm.
so one of them that I feel is that a nonprofit can actually exist without you.
Mm.
A nonprofit, whereas your business, you have the control of paying it forward.
Right.
And so leaving it to your kids and things like that. Well, a nonprofit has to be voted upon about who's going to take over when you leave. So that's one of the biggest differences. There are some others, but that's one of the biggest differences that you would have to decide. But there are a lot of benefits too.
Mm-hmm.
Nonprofits are more in line to receive funding from other sources, receive grants, one of the big things, and also donations from individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like to tell people that in starting a nonprofit, your main thing shouldn't be to receive a
Like,
grant, it
right.
should be to do the work, and then you just get paid for what you love doing.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. So, okay, I know you said the class is 501c3 or not. So, would that be the only nonprofit that would be available to them, or like how many, options do they have as far as becoming a nonprofit?
Well, 501c3 is just the main one. There are a lot of different other ones, just really under a tax code. You can
Mm-hmm.
be a church, you can be a membership organization, different things like that. So there are a lot of different lists. I don't know them all by heart because the IRS is going to find a
Changes.
way. The IRS is going to find a way to label something. So
Mm-hmm.
501c3 is just the
Most
most
popular.
common,
Oh my.
the most
Okay.
popular, most common one, and it's the easiest. To me, it's the most straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I help people to do. I can do the other ones, help people to start the other ones, but that's mostly my focus is the 501c3,
501c3.
a charity organization that works in the community. Yeah.
Okay. So, with starting a nonprofit, say, okay, I have an idea. I come to you. I say, hey, I have an idea. What would be some things that I would need to, I guess, do or have decided before you would start working with me? Like,
Well, first, we would just sit down and flush out your mission. I like
mm-hmm,
to tell people when we talk about our mission should be easy to remember. It should be succinct. Now, I believe in memorizing your mission.
mm-hmm,
I believe in that
I've
because
heard
if
it.
somebody asks you what's your mission, you should be able to say what that mission is without a whole bunch of, the whole vision, giving somebody
Right.
the whole vision.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that you should have a fundable and sustainable mission. Some things when we have so much in our heart and so much we want to do that a lot of times we'll create a mission that's actually not fundable, and that's okay if you don't want to receive grants and things like that, because you
Mm-hmm.
can be fully supported just by donor dollars, people who believe in you, people who follow you, and people who want to support you. You can in fact, most people don't know that only about 12% of your revenue budget should be from government grants.
From grants.
Yeah,
Okay.
only about 12% because you would want to not be so top heavy.
Right.
And
You don't want to be dependent.
there's right, so dependent. There's different combinations that we come up with on how you should raise money. Some people are um, grant dependent, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel the first thing you should do is to be sure that you're already doing the work. Funders love to see you already doing the work. Because if it
Mm-hmm.
really means that much to you, I don't care if you're volunteering to help another organization or whatever, get some type of experience in the work that you plan to do.
That you want to do.
Yeah.
Okay. And that makes a lot of sense. Okay, but if someone already has a nonprofit, you would still be able to work with them, right? If they are already
Oh,
having
yes.
a nonprofit and they may be, having difficulty raising funds or whatever the case may be.
Yes, that's one of the main things I do. I help people who have nonprofit ideas, and I help them to start the nonprofit, but I help them to start it making it something that is fundable and sustainable.
Sustainable.
But for
Right.
people who come to me who already have nonprofits, I help them to find their secret sauce.
Mm.
What can you stand out for? And choose that. You can't be a jack of all trades because you'll end up being a master of none. You can't
Mm-hmm.
be everything for everybody. You can't solve all the ills of the world and not even just all the ills of your community. So therefore, let's choose something, a couple of things for you to run on. I call it your platform. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the first thing I would do with them. The next thing, then we would make sure that our um, mission actually is fundable. So even the programs that we choose, we will make sure that they're fundable because funding follows needs.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's no need for the program that you're developing, it'll probably be pretty hard to find funding. And then I help them to seek out funding. As a professional grant writer and professional fundraiser, I do receive RFPs from North Carolina, Mecklenburg County, but even national ones. I get them
Mm-hmm.
already in my inbox with funders asking me, "Do you know anybody who could fill this grant? Do you know
Find
anybody
somebody
who
to get this money too.
yeah, find somebody for me to get this money to." And I'd like to a funny story. It took me a long time to realize because, I know that as a nonprofit, I do have my own nonprofit. And being the development director for lots of nonprofits over my career, it seems like it's hard to find funding. But
Mm-hmm.
I've had the opportunity to actually work on the other side of it, which is also still philanthropy and nonprofit work, and
Yes.
give the money away. That is hard to do.
Yeah,
It is
I
difficult
read
to
that.
do. I didn't know it would be so hard to give money away, to find people who actually qualify, who actually are following directions, sitting in the type of proposal we're asking for, who actually read what we wrote and send in something that we could send through to be voted upon. It is a difficult job. It was my job at one time at the foundation I worked for. So I was tasked with raising the funds, but then turning around and we give the funds
Distributing
away.
them as well.
Yeah, we
Oh.
distribute. Oh my gosh, it was one of the hardest jobs I've had.
Yeah, and I read that. I read that people always say, "Oh, well, they have a lot of money. Why don't they give it to this or give it to that?" But it was like that's the hardest thing to do because how do you have to decide? You have to set some type of a criteria in place to give. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to give it to who needs it most. So, and it was like
Yes.
that's a really hard thing to do because I said, one day I'm going to be, soon I'm going to have enough money that what I'm going to do is travel around the world and give out money to
Oh
people that's
wow. All right, I'm
it's
believing
coming.
with you on that.
It's
I'm
coming.
believing with you.
I
I love
believe it.
that.
So I'm just, just meeting people and seeing what they do or what they're trying to do. And I mean that's what I want to do. I want to go all over the world, talk to people and just give away money to help them, do whatever they're trying to do, make the dream come true.
Exactly.
I don't know why that's been on my mind for a long time. But it has. So I'm like, okay.
That's a great mission. That's a
I'm,
great mission right there. And the good thing about that is that you don't even have to do that with just your money. If you
no.
actually create a nonprofit, because that's what foundations are. So what
Mm.
you don't realize that what you actually are describing is a foundation.
Oh, see.
Foundations actually raise money, some of their own, some of it is
Hmm.
private family foundations, and their
Hmm.
family may put the money in the pot, and then they give it away. And that's what I've worked for, some foundations, and that's what they do. We look around and find somebody to give the money to, find somebody doing great things. We ask people to send us proposals, tell
Hmm.
us what they're doing. Some people we even bring in so they can talk to us and tell us what they're doing, and then we help to fund their missions that they're doing when they're doing good work. Um, and so I'm telling you, it's actually a harder job than you think to give away money.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. Because I mean,
But it's a
even
great thing. It's a great feeling, though. Great feeling.
yeah, yeah. Because I
Yeah.
mean, even with what I can do, when I do with what I can do, I mean, to me, is and they be like, oh, well, they're gonna do. I mean, it don't matter what the people gonna do with it. To me, I mean, because I want to do it because I want, it's from the heart. So what they do with it is on them. I gave it to them with the right intentions for them to do whatever they're gonna do with it. So that's on them and whoever, you know, they see above them. But yeah.
Right.
So I told y'all she knew what she's talking about. See, I'm up here, I'm creating a whole foundation, and all I want to do is fly around the world and give away money. And I ain't even have a name for it. But yeah, Okay,
But
so it's not really hard to get money. It's not really hard to get funding. It's just a matter of
it's
following instructions.
following instructions, and also it is competitive. It is
Mm-hmm.
competitive. So just like anything else, people act like it's different than getting a job or whatever. I've applied for jobs, and they told me they had over 100 applicants.
Right.
Here I am thinking I'm unique,
Yeah.
but here I am, there's 100 people in this pool. So the
Mm-hmm.
same thing with so if we stop looking at it as such a mystery and oh my gosh, and start looking at it as it's competition just like anything else. And
Mm-hmm.
so try to be ahead of the game, follow the directions. I say all the time, follow the directions, don't go off on your own tangent. If they said 250 words, make it 249, just to
Mm-hmm.
make sure you're inside of there. If they said explain it in 3 sentences, don't go on and explain it in 10.
Right.
You know, and so I tell people just follow the directions of the RFP, the request for a proposal, or request for application, RFA. And also, I tell people to think about it this way. When
Mm-hmm.
I teach my workshop on grant writing,
Mm-hmm.
I have them. First of all, I have the executive directors, foundation, nonprofit heads. I have them think about you have $50,000 to give away, and you
Mm-hmm.
want to give it away for some good causes. What would you ask people for? And then I have them write down on sticky notes and stick it up on the wall. When we went through some of the stuff they asked for, I was like, you guys are worse than the people y'all saying don't want to get the money away. Some of y'all say, I want 5 years of records that they've been doing right with the money.
They
I
want a
want
leg
this.
and a toe.
They want a leg and a toe when they giving the money away. But when they receiving the money, they just want to say, I just got a good idea and I think you
Give
should
it.
fund it. You know,
Yeah, well, that's it.
right. And
Everybody got a great idea, and that's the thing about
right.
it.
That's right. Everybody, you're not the only one with a great idea. And so therefore, what's your edge? What is your
Mm-hmm.
secret sauce? What do you have that's different? And one of the big things, how do you work with others? You got to be able to
Mm-hmm.
work well with others, because funders would rather fund a collaborations than a lone horse. Because yeah, because your money goes further. Think
Well,
about it.
yeah,
Why do you think people go to those shopping clubs where you pay to go in there to shop?
right.
Because
Your
your money
money
goes
goes first.
further. You get to get it in bulk. Well, funders are the same way. They want the help in bulk quantities. So if you
Okay.
got 3 organizations working together and they come and they submit one proposal, just for instance, they submit one proposal that they're all going to bring their expertise to.
Mm-hmm.
You know how to do this, you know how to do this, and you know how to do that. We can really make a great program, because remember, uh, we don't know everything. I don't know everything. I'm a healing and deliverance coach. So healing, non, my nonprofit,
Mm-hmm.
Healing and Empowerment Ministries, we partner with other nonprofits.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Right.
I bring what I can bring to the table, but I bring in somebody else who know how to do something better than I do,
Right.
right? And so we can partner together on a project. I know my strong suit is show me the money.
Right.
My
Yeah.
strong suit is show me the money. And another one, my strong suit is my pastoral psychotherapist piece.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that piece, but I may need somebody else to come in and do the workforce development piece, right?
Right. Right.
So teach them how to write a resume. Shoot, I pay to get my resume written when I needed one. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore, I would have somebody else come in for that. So somebody who does workforce development. So that's what it means. Funders love to see nonprofits working together. They're kind of wary of the person who say, no, I can do it all.
Yeah.
I'll do it. My nonprofit can do everything. Who are you for? Look, that's like even in business. Who are you for? Who are your customers? Everybody.
Yeah, and that makes
Everybody
it,
can use me
and that's
to
not.
water it
Yeah,
down.
it
To
is. It's
water it
just not.
down.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with nonprofits. Same thing. Don't water yourself down. Find something, stick with it, become the expert at that, and then go out and do a thing. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So with the money, I know you were responsible for getting the money. Like, what would you say? I guess what causes because I know, and I guess too, it may change depending on what's happening in the world. But like, what causes are mostly funded?
It does. It change as things go on. Right now, we know that COVID money is really, really
What's
big.
that?
People who are providing things for COVID, but also the fallout from COVID. Think about
Mm,
all the things that are the fallout. We have people who are families who are experiencing insecurities. Like there are families who are experiencing financial insecurities.
yes.
Food,
Food. Yeah.
food, providing the basic needs.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think about providing the basic needs of people. And lately, emotional and mental needs have become big because with the
Everybody's separated.
yes, with the isolation, we've noticed that there's a lot of need in that category. And like with Healing and Empowerment Ministries, we have two focuses.
Hmm.
Our overall goal is to provide supportive services to families experiencing challenges, socio-economical challenges. So not only economical, but also social, meaning
So,
the mental and behavior health piece. And
mm-hmm.
so that they can become self-sufficient and therefore become productive citizens in their own communities. And so, even with that overarching goal, the two causes that we address are narrowing the academic achievement gap and supporting people who have been through trauma of domestic violence and childhood abuse. So
Okay.
those are the two. So we chose two platforms to run on, even though there's a lot of platforms behind social economical needs of families today. You,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, work for people lost jobs.
Right.
So there can be somebody who focuses on that. There can be somebody who focuses on clothes. Now we do emergency provision. I would never tell somebody, no, I ain't giving you nothing. We
Right.
do that too. And through the Jeremy D. Brooks Scholarship Fund, we help youth. We help youth who want to go into entrepreneurship and things like that. So you can just choose. There's so many needs. If you just think about basic needs, right? Housing is one of the big
Yes. Yeah, and that's
housing
even
is
like
a
you
big
said, the fallout of this, the aftermath. I mean, right now, I don't know if they've lifted it or not, but the what is it, the moratorium or whatever, where they had the people couldn't get evicted and
right.
things of that nature. I do see it affecting, people, people are going to lose their houses. I know
Yeah.
people that are like months behind and they're like, and I know from experience, even on, you try to get, a program, and some programs actually, may be more than, may be more costly than what you were, actually going
What
through.
you
Yeah.
exactly.
So, I mean,
Yes.
that
So
would be a great thing. But yeah,
I even like now that the workforce development piece
uh-huh.
actually covers funding, actually covers entrepreneurship too.
Yes.
I love that you don't just have to show people how to get a job. So if there's any of you out there who focuses on workforce development, if you bring in somebody who knows about being an entrepreneur, that can expand your programming, and therefore your funding too, and you'll be
Hmm.
able to serve even more people.
All right,
So
y'all better be taking notes from Dr. Diva, because she's dropping some game on you. Um, but her information is at the bottom of the screen, so that way I know it's been running and I didn't mention it, but I, I am going to mention it now because I know that she has another obligation, so I'm not going to keep her too much longer. But her information is running across the screen at the bottom. If you want to reach out to Dr. Debra for healing or for nonprofit. That's her contact information. Dr. Debra, you have anything else you want to leave with the people?
I would just like to say to people, once you've gotten over your crisis, your story can help somebody else. And now it's time for you to go back, bring somebody else along, and turn that vision that you have into a sustainable mission. And you can reach me at Dr. Deborah at drdeborahforhealing.com. That
Mhm.
again, that's Dr. Deborah at drdeborahforhealing.com. Have a great one.
All right. Well, Dr. Debra, I've enjoyed you. I thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Oh yeah, I was happy to be here, and I hope somebody got something out of it.
Yes, I do. I do. I do. Because it was very good information. I mean, and you're the well of information, so they need to be coming to the well and dipping their bucket in or their ladder or whatever they got. They need to be putting
Amen.
it and getting some of that, getting some of them gems, especially if they're looking to start or are already have started a nonprofit and they're trying to, expand it, or become sustainable, as
Yes.
you say. But I'm going to go ahead and let you go. But thank you again for joining me. And we'll be
Thank
talking
you.
again shortly.
Yes, yes.
All right. Have a
All
great day.
right. Bye, everybody.
All right, all right, all right. Well, I thank y'all for taking the time to join us this morning. I thank you. If you happen to jump on the replay later, thank you for taking the time to check out the replay. But I've been with Dr. Debra Dunston. If you're interested in any nonprofit information, please get at her because she knows what she knows and she can help you. But my name is Shenrika. This has been What's Your Story? I will see you all next week. Next week's guest will be Jacqueline Makins Golden. If you're in the hair care industry, she's the person to know, and you'll find out why. But thank you so much for joining us on What's Your Story. You all have an awesome week, the rest of your week, and I hope it's been awesome so far. Thank you for joining us. Get your midweek awesomeness. Bye-bye.